Just in the fact that he's brought old decks, probably tuned them to beat these new neutral decks, so I think he's in a good place.
And we're jumping into the game now, we're loading in, but what's going to be important for me is to see if Fatina can continue the streak and kind of push himself up to that upper echelon and actually make it into the playoffs, because it really feels like he's kind of at the last stretch of this race and has to just find the extra willpower to push through. But it's going to be Rune versus Garuda Haven. How does Garuda Haven play out against neutral Rune here, Aya Senpai, and how do you think this match is going to end for the two players here?
Well, like many matchups, he is certainly playing Lion, so this is essentially Lion Haven versus neutral Rune. But Derxello he's got a nice curve. He's got 1, 2, and 3, so you're just gonna have to figure it out. But Fatina, who is trying not to breakdance at the moment, is
can we take a brief moment to talk about how we started with a band in Forest, and then we've seen multiple players dancing. I think it's just a music kind of day.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can't blame him. I mean, I be jamming on my stream, so hey, you know, like I can feel it, bro.
Yeah, I can feel. All right, so sorry to interrupt. So go ahead and explain the rest of this matchup real quick.
All right, so the rest of this matchup really just comes down to how well Derxello is going to be able to actually handle Fatina's flood, if it ever happens. What we see right now is we see Derxello. He has a very aggressive hand. So, ooh.
Yes, yes. I think there's a lot more weight in Fatina's side. Plus, he had the play, meaning he was able to actually execute. He doesn't have a great aggressive line, but he has an okay aggressive line, which he was able to execute here. And he's got a lot of punch afterwards. If we're looking at Derxello's hand, talk about building a house full of bricks. It's full of all of these little tiny followers. And if he doesn't draw anything with more substance here pretty soon, he might just get outvalued. Yeah,
that's certainly possible. Like Snow White in Fatina's hand is probably going to put in a lot of work. Being able to deal with these non-Alice style boards. And while that Snow White is helping clear off these non-Alice style boards, Fatina's just going to be able to assemble a massively big board. I mean, his Lion's at 5, so realistically, he could play that next turn. You know?
And this is definitely an interesting take. So this isn't normal Aegis Haven. This isn't normal, like, I'm going to control Haven. This is, I'm going to kind of mix some of the elements of neutral Haven tempo into being able to end with Aegis if I need to. So it's kind of like a departure from both the styles of decks and kind of like merge them together. So I kind of like this, and it's showing that it can put together a very good curve here. So
now, I actually kind of like this. This also fits very well into what we've been seeing from Fatina in previous weeks. In the first week, we saw him bring like that whole triple combo lineup, which he immediately abandoned. And what he's decided to do now was he's decided to go with something that is a very like style attack. And while still having that late game, if the game goes this long, I still have answers for you.
This is just going to start snowballing for Fatina, especially without being able to deal with that 5/5. Now he gets to play out even more followers. He gets to flood the board, Lion into Beast Call Aria.
Disgusting, man.
Yeah, just disgusting. This is the power of Lion, and we've been seeing it in all of our Haven games so far, except for the Seraph one, where it produces so much value in a single turn.
I'm through.
Yeah, and Derxello's not even going to try.
I don't blame him. What was he gonna do? Like,
yeah.
What was he gonna do? He was just gonna sit there.
He could kill one follower, the 4/4, and then he'd have to deal with 10 damage, followed by another push the following turn. So yeah. Yep. Neutral things plus Haven plus Lion. I mean, they're doing things today. They've been doing things all week though. So.
Yeah. So. Fatina is now going to be on his shadow list, and we did see this list before. In not last week, because last week was a mid-season special, but the week before, we did see this list get played, and we know that this man's running Deathly Tyrant again. So
yep, he won with it. He won with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And despite the changes from the time between now and then, he's still running 3 Ektar.
Yep. Ektar still seems like a really strong option. I think some players, not all players, but some players have been feeling that since the mid-game / late-game power that Ektar just did by himself might need a little bit of help now, and I think that's why Fatina is still running the Deathly Tyrant. Obviously, he thought it was a good option before, but I think he might even think it's a better option now.
Well, right now what we see is Derxello's hand's actually a lot better than it was before.
Yes.
And
has an Eagle Man to drop down, has a good curve. We get to see Brick Corpse here again.
Yes,
Corpse is still good, but this actually I want to say this. So this to me highlights laziness. Lurching Corpse has been a staple in the deck this entire expansion, but now when you're expecting all of your opponents to be hyper aggro, is Lurching Corpse still the card that you want to have in your deck?
That's a good question.
Like, obviously it's really good with Soul Conversion, obviously it's really good with Demon Eater, but as we can see, like, hands without them, they just kind of sit there. They deal 1 damage over time, sure, but it's like you're using a turn and you have a follower in play that can't really do anything.
Well, then let me ask this. Since you proposed that, the question that I have is, do you actually think that, or rather, what would you think would be a suitable replacement for, oh my goodness.
Just another 2-drop. I mean, you've got Dark Conjurer, you've got, I mean, Spartoy Surgeon if you want more shadows. I mean, like, you got a ton of options in the 2-drop slot for Shadow. You don't have to go with Lurching Corpse. As a matter of fact, if you look at the top 8 of Season 1 of NGE, there wasn't a Lurching Corpse to be found in most of those decks. They were a lot more aggressive. Now, obviously, the game is a little bit different then, but Lurching Corpse came back. It was in, then it was out, then it was back, and now I think it should kind of dip back out again.
Alright, I think, so I want to talk about Derxello's line of play here. His line of play was to play Eagle, and just, you know, push all the damage that he could. Do you think that's right with the Lurching Corpse sitting there? Or, like, he did just give Lurching Corpse a target to attack him.
He doesn't have any other plays, I think, is realistically the only reason. I think he wants to maintain being aggressive, and it's really the only way to do that. It does give some value to the Lurching Corpse, actually a lot of value. And yeah, this is just all going to get cleaned up. He just didn't have any better options. He didn't get a good 4-drop, essentially, or a good turn 4 play.
Okay. Wow. And then we're seeing a power Prince Catacomb once again. It's like he never left.
Might be slower, but still hasn't lost his value.
Yeah, we're seeing the value of that. And for those who don't know what Prince Catacomb actually does, and what it does is when it comes in, it has fanfare. Give all of your followers last words. Summon a skeleton. So all the followers that are in play gain the ability, and they die, to just summon another skeleton. So they can just replace themselves, and it can be incredibly difficult to deal with a full board.
Yep. And it's important for shadow generation. It's important to keep boards up so that you can have targets for your Cerberus, Mimi, and Cocos. It's good for Ektar turns. It's just good all around. And it's just good to keep damage flowing and good defensive options open. Ooh, so, there's one of the combo pieces.
Yeah, but I think, given from what we're seeing right now, I think that if Derxello could somehow manage to get an amulet in hand, he might be able to, you know, kind of run away with the game.
Yeah, there's not, like, Fatina has an Ektar and one zombie party left. I really don't agree with trading out the board here. I don't see any reason why. Just, he doesn't want to lose value with his 1/1s, I suppose. But using up a zombie party to do that, I don't know really how effective that is.
Right. Oh, he's
just going with tempo.
He said, you know what, man? Deal with it.
Let us conclude.
And this coming into an Ektar turn, so definitely courageous. This is good, though, because those are 5/5s, not X4s, which Ektar can easily deal with, so...
Well, I mean, he can still kind of deal with it. I mean, the Ektar does boost the other followers that he has in play. So he could still be able to clear the board. Obviously, he would have to trade out one of these zombies to get full value on the Ektar. I said one of the skeletons, sorry.
Yeah, he does have a great play this turn. He can trade that out so that that new 1/1 gains rush. He can trade both of the 1/1s into the 5/4s. Ooh. Not doing that. So this is a very interesting line to me. I felt like he could have cleared the entire board, but he gave up the option to do so.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems a little sketchy, but I don't know. Maybe he's just saying, I don't believe you have anything to deal with, you know, this. But we also can see that Fatina doesn't really have anything after that Ektar.
That's true. So that's what I mean. Like, because of what he has access to, that single Ektar is the biggest push he's going to be able to make. I feel like clearing out all the 5/5s would have been paramount.
Darn it all! Yeah. And we're going to see Zombie Party here, but...
Still no way to deal with this 5/5. Like, him leaving that 5/5 in play might just cost him this game.
Yeah, it very well could. And I don't think that if you're... Okay, this is a very interesting position for Derxello. He has to consider whether or not he is going to just go face, or if he's just going to play the Goblin King and hope for the best.
He has to go face. There is no defensive option here. If you go defensive here and your opponent has an Ektar, you lose. If you go offensive here and he has an Ektar, you lose. So you just have to pray that he doesn't have Ektar and just and hope for the best, essentially.
He's thinking about it, though. I think he's actually thinking about trading.
I don't like it at all. I mean, if he trades here, it doesn't improve his situation.
Right.
It's he still loses the game. Okay.
All right, he went face. Right. I like. And that isn't gonna do it.
That's not gonna do it. Is he gonna be able to clear board here? He can clear board, so he's not dead yet.
Yes.
So now it's top deck mode for Derxello. Does Derxello have the random Gilgamesh like we've seen in some of the decks? Let's take a look.
I don't know.
Come on, Gilga. He does. He has a single Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I would think he does.
Come on, baby. Ooh, same. There you go.
Same thing. It's the same thing. And I like how nonchalant Derxello was about it. Oh, yeah, you know, I had it already.
Yeah, I had it the whole time.
No big deal. He's just like, yeah, He's not even gonna get excited. He's just, whatever.
So it's a funny thing talking about Gilgamesh because I've seen it pop up a lot more since this new set came out. Gilgamesh used to be a card that you'd never see except for in meme decks, but it's an 8 play 0.54 with Storm, just neutral follower that anybody can play. Kind of undervalued for the stat cost, but because of how aggressive these neutral decks are, it's actually a really good way to push damage after Evo points are gone. It's just 5 damage straight to the face. It tops out your curve. You only really need to throw 1 in your deck because you don't want to draw it early. You don't want to draw multiples or anything like that. But the funny thing about it is it went from like an unplayed card to like 1 in almost like every neutral deck out there. Just a very interesting transition to me.
Well, I think that Alice as a card kind of gave it a new life. Sure. Being able to play Alice and then, of course, buffing that Gilgamesh to allow it to do even more damage when it comes down. I think it kind of gave it a little bit of new life. Also, neutral just gave it a reason to be played. So, yeah.
That's true. That's true. So, let's get into the Rune versus Shadow matchup. This matchup's actually very even, especially now with the Ektar nerfs. Like, they basically just try to throw haymakers at each other as much as possible. The play not as important in this matchup now that Felice doesn't have the free enhance effect, so it has to play a lot more fair. So it really just depends on the big mid game / value on who can generate more, who can continue to present possible aggressive boards, and who can't.
Right. So what we can see right now is that Derxello doesn't have the quote unquote God curve, going into turn 4. He doesn't have like everything into Alice. But that doesn't mean that he's necessarily it's not necessarily that he can't do anything about it though. He does have Felice, so he will be able to start pushing damage if he wants to do that next turn. But we just saw Fatina get a lot of value out of it.
Yep. So one of those effects that you play in Shadow so that you can get use out of that Lurching Corpse, which kills a follower of yours and then it just resummons it, or it can kill an opponent's follower if you want to like de-evolve it or reset its health or something to that effect. So it has a lot of play to it.
Yep. Derxello is like, you know what, man? Your face is the only place I'm going.
Yep. I agree, especially with the Hector draw. Like, you're just like, okay, I've got a consistent source of damage. He's got 7 more damage right out of hand that can't really be answered by Fatina at the moment.
And as we know, Shadow doesn't have really any heals outside of maybe the one card that happens to be Fatina's card sleeves. But in general, it just doesn't have it.
Yep.
Hey, that hurt. Food should act like food.
Oh, another one of the activators. We actually see Shadow drawing some of its sacrifice outlets this game.
Yep. And there's an Alice, but I don't think that's going to matter much.
Nope.
I think Derxello is just going to go all in on the dome piece.
And he's like, you know what? All I need to draw is one more card to win this game. Another Hector will do it. Another Felice won't do it. A Gilgamesh would do it. He's got stuff he can draw here.
Yep.
Even a Dance of Death if he's playing Dance of Death.
Well, I don't think he's doing that, but that kind of lends to, you know, kind of like the power of Felice as a card. That even with the nerf, that she can still set up very, you know, scary lethal situations.
Well, her power and toughness is huge for her cost already. The fact that she can also kill an enemy follower while dealing damage to the opponent on the same turn is pretty good.
Now, I would like to point out, Fatina played his Midnight Haunt. And for those who don't know what Midnight Haunt does, is when it has fanfare, you just gain 13 shadows. Period. You know? And at the last words of it, so basically when it leaves play, or when it itself dies, all your shadows go to 0. Period. Okay? So, I believe this is for him to set up a Death's Breath turn. Because there's no real reason to try and set up a Death Tyrant at this juncture.
Right.
I bloom on stage.
Could have been going for the spike. 13, 15, 16. It was actually a lethal setup had there not been a ward played that turn. So actually it was a lethal. Oh, well, that's right. He didn't have the 20 shadows anyway. So yeah, Deathly Tyrant would have been active.
Right.
But all these wards aren't going to matter. We've seen Angel of the Word in Derxello's hand. He needs 1 more damage.
Yeah, 1 damage.
He needs 1 damage.
And that is not the damage.
Yet. I would suggest playing that to filter the deck out, though.
Yeah. But Fatina's also about to lose all of his shadows. So that's not necessarily important here. He already got the value out of his Death's Breath. But oh wow. I would have face. I think I would have went face with that one damage.
Interesting. Either or just not play it. Like, I feel Goblin Mage to filter to get a better draw. Now he's like, with the way he played this turn, even a Hector top deck isn't good enough.
Yeah, I think he actually just cost himself the game.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think what he did was he essentially got scared and it was like, okay, well, I need to start getting something on board. And he would have won the game.
Yeah.
He would have won the game.
When you get your opponent that low that fast, you have some turns. Give it like, if you're gonna play that way, play that way. This is one of those instances where we see a player kind of going 50-50 with what he's doing, and it might not cost him the game. It's not like he's dead to rights yet, but it definitely didn't put him in a better position where he could have already won.
Well, he would have won the game that turn had he shot face with the Angel of the Word. He's afraid of taking damage when, in fact, he should have been just playing to the out of just winning the game. Right. And now, Fatina's just going to get enough butt out of his cards.
This Deathly Tyrant, not so much, but a necessary evil.
Yeah. See, Deathly Tyrant clear is actually exactly what just saved him, you know?
Yes.
So
he needed it, for sure. This follow-up turn, though, it might be over. Fatina, I don't know if he has anything that can deal with this.
Fatina looks a little restless over there, man.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah,
He's got no way to clear out both the 2/2s.
Yeah, yeah, no way. 0.
That's it. Fatina took a little break, and when he comes back, he's going to realize his impending doom.
Yeah. He can't kill him. He can't trade the Lurching Corpse. This is yet another example of the problems of Lurching Corpse. He can't trade with the Lurching Corpse. He can't take out either one of the Carrot or the Kaiser, and there's literally nothing he can do.
Yeah, so let's have a discussion. What do you think the best 2-drop would be to replace Lurching Corpse? So again, we have Dark Conjurer, which we have seen, but it's been in a lot fewer numbers than it used to be. It already runs Lariel. Spartoi's Surgeon might be more necessary now because of the increasing shadow cost of Ektar, and its inability to like finish the game, so you need to have like maybe even a second Ektar active or something other than that. So Spartoi's Surgeon could be decent. What else do you think, Aya?
Oh, I actually kind of like the Spartory Sergeant idea. There is still possibly the Lesser Mummy. If someone was looking for the Storm, I don't think it would do that. But I like the Spartory Sergeant, again, just to fill up shadows so you can use your Death's Breath, and you can still generate shadows for your Ektars, because you still need shadows. So
Perfect.
I enjoyed that match just because it feels like